hear me? Okay, I think after a good security sessions, now it's actually changed a little bit of the topic. We are going back to generative AI. And this topic is more specific about where is actually the best way to actually deploy the generative AI. And also, I will also touch base a little bit about what's the hybrid cloud, okay? All right. Not a very busy agenda. I know that everyone is hoping for a break soon. So I will try to cover all this in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Right. I think there are a lot of the different definitions in the market. So hybrid cloud, what does it mean for hybrid cloud? So in a simple form to say that, of course, we are saying that it's a public cloud and private cloud. When you use both of that together, that is actually the means for a public cloud, hybrid cloud. But go into a little bit in depth, right? Why are we actually required for hybrid cloud? And why can't we just go with public cloud, or why can't we just go with on-prem infrastructure? So what is the benefit over here? And why does it matter? Okay, first of all, I think public cloud provide a lot of the flexibility, scalability, everything looks great. And of course, to enjoy all this benefit, so we will also need to deploy the things into the public. So how about data sensitivity, right? So for some of the data, for example, like a lot of the companies should have something like data hubs, data lakes, that's actually contain about the whole company information, especially the customer informations. Are they really good to actually put it into a public cloud? I think that is actually an open debate. So in some of the, I would say, not so sensitive industry, it might be really good to actually enjoy the public cloud. For example, even like you just start about your business, your journey, that is actually also a good way to actually use the public cloud. But if, let's say, it's in the mature enterprise company, data actually become very important to them, especially the area where I'm in, the financial industry. So for all the financial service industry are very sensitive about data. So to have a better data security, we think that probably a private cloud is a better solution. And therefore, there is also a lot of the discussions is coming up why hybrid cloud is become more important instead of just the public cloud infrastructure. Okay. So other than that, a hybrid cloud, it can actually architect in multiple ways, right? So whenever we need to scale up our resources, we can always use the public cloud, of course. But then we can also use, for example, like different strategy, like for example, cloud busting, different data layer to actually segregate all our data. So cloud busting also allow us to actually use the public cloud resources to handle the spike, of course. Data tiering will actually help us to actually how do we want to protect our data. I give you one example. So let's say for the less sensitive data, or I would say also less calculation or less managing data, we can always consider in the public cloud because the cost of use the data is actually lower than what you have in the private cloud. But let's say it's for the sensitive data, or you require to do a lot of the machine learning, it's actually better for us to actually put it into the private cloud. Okay. So the next, I think a lot of people have slightly different understanding about what is actually generative AI. Okay. So first of all, I think generative AI is nothing new. It has been here for more than 20 years. So it's an artificial intelligence. It will use the algorithm to actually generate new data, right? So I believe a lot of people who are familiar with the generative AI, you will always just refer to ChatGPT, for example, because that is the one created by OpenAI and is get very famous right now, right? So generative AI itself refers to more generic terms. And in the past, how people actually use the generative AI is mainly on the image regenerations or the music compositions. Because if you input the original content, right, it can actually help you to create another unique contents. and use a lot of the different techniques in the market. You can talk about GANs, you can talk about VAEs. So a lot of other different models as well. I didn't list all, but there are actually a lot of other different techniques actually to generate the contents. So the main purpose to use it is actually more on the image and music in the past, but where are we actually using it today? So based on our research in 2024, the top 3 generative AI in the market right now, of course, first one is the most common, ChatGPT. It has the version 3, 3.5, 4. It's actually a language processing AI. Then later on, I think end of last year, Microsoft is also coming out with Copilots to actually help on the work efficiency. So of course, last but not least, Magenta by Google is already available here for quite a fair bit. So these 3 actually are the very famous right now in terms of where the generative AI is being used. So we can actually see that the first 2 is actually more towards a text processing AI. And we also realized that I think this day a lot of us can use AI to actually simplify our works. Before I continue to the generative AI topics, just to also share with you all the challenges of hybrid cloud. And there's a reason why I'm actually sharing this into the next coming slide as well. So I think there are several showing in the screen. I think the first one, data security, no doubt. How do we do a data tiering, as I mentioned, is actually very important. And that's actually able to help you to meet your compliance. So, and also, if we have actually multi-cloud, hybrid cloud basically contain about private and public. So it's actually also increase the difficulty to have visibility and control all over the cloud. Because we need to find a right software who can actually manage both the cloud together. Then it's also require multiple skill. If you are on Google Cloud, you are on AWS Cloud, you are on Azure Cloud, then you are also having your own private cloud stack. It's all different skill set. Of course, there are actually common technology like Ansible, Terraform. It can help your deployments. But then to actually learn up all this technology is still a little bit challenge. Then next one is again lack of standardizations. And another one is my favorite topic, cost management. How do we actually ensure it's actually effective cost in terms of using any of the cloud or any of the infrastructure? And this is really a complex topic. We need to really like go through, experience, try it, and then you will see where does the cost go to. Latency and connectivity issue is always there, but the latency and connectivity issue with the hybrid cloud is a little bit more challenged. So you will see that actually the latency travel along because usually the private cloud, you are either hosting in the colo or in your own data center, so you require a stable connection to actually connect to it. And last but not least, I think is the data migrations and the data management. Okay, so now going into the actual topics about hybrid cloud infrastructure on the generative AI. So hybrid cloud, of course, it can provide you the enough compute power for you. How do you train your AI? As I mentioned, you can put some of the information, if it's not heavy calculations, always you can actually put in the public cloud, and then you can do an egress back to your private cloud. But if let's say you want to train about large AI model, so you need to really see how you actually putting the data. I think that is the first thing you need to consider if you are actually doing so. Then hybrid cloud is also access the data from multiple sources, right? So you can have some, for example, let's say in your company you have Salesforce or CRM, then you can also have Microsoft Dynamics. So you can actually have multiple sources to actually use as your incoming data. So all these actually impose just now what I mentioned on the challenges and need to be careful about. And also we need to look into how can we actually scale up the AI development, because AI is actually mainly talking about data. So you are actually processing massive of the data, and you need to see how all this is able to make it cost effective. Yeah. And hybrid cloud also talking about like how can you impose the security. For example, these days people talk about zero trust. So security is also another important area. How can we actually impose the same security for the public cloud and also private cloud? And all this is actually different aspect of investment. What is the generative AI trending as we see right now? Okay, so of course the first thing we can use it to actually create realistic training and simulations. This day I think we saw a lot of the companies started mainly from US. They are actually also using those AI material content to actually provide training to all their customers. So I think that is actually one of the very good example where we actually can use on that. I think the second topic, second AI trending where we see in the medical area, they are also using it to personalize the medical treatment and drugs. Then the third one, of course, as common, I think if you play games, you know that there are a lot of NPC there. In the past, the NPC is always very static, but right now the NPC can be generate different response to the user, so improve the user experience. It's also used in the design, whether it's an interior design or some other design like the, for example, maybe shirts, pants, everything can actually go to even a building. So AI actually can use it in this area. I think last year also have another Taiwanese artist is actually using it to create a unique art based on generative AI. So that is also one of the area is commonly used because people easily to run out with ideas. So what can we actually to help us? It's not saying that AI is something like you press a button and generate something for you and that's what you want. But it can actually assist you to simulate what is actually useful for you and you can based on that to create some other ideas. I think last but not least, the natural language processing, as I mentioned, the increase of the using right now. So it's also cover about like the chatbot, your voice assistant can be used for your call center or any other area. Okay, I think that's it for my slide today. Thank you very much.